The Indiana Hoosiers do it again. They use another double-digit comeback to go 3-0 in Puerto Rico.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome, and it is the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you being here, making this your first listen or your first watch every single day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first ticket purchase. Well, we got a lot to get to here on Locked On Hoosiers today. Indiana football ranked in the top 20 and actually ranked at number 20 in the first AP poll of the season. We'll talk about that, plus where some of our opponents are going to be in the AP poll as well, where the Hoosiers could rise and where the Hoosiers could fall as well. Plus, what's next for Indiana basketball? Now that Puerto Rico's over, what's the schedule look like? What's this team going to do? And what do you take away from this trip? But before we get to all of that, the Hoosiers do it again. Another double-digit comeback, this time a 20-point deficit at the half against this Mega SuperBet team that you played in Puerto Rico, a team from Serbia, and the Hoosiers are the comeback kids once more. They go 3-0 in Puerto Rico, taking down Mega SuperBet 81-80. And we talked yesterday right about the scrimmage, or the not the scrimmage, the game, right? The exhibition game on Saturday between the Hoosiers and this Mega SuperBet team. One where Indiana went down by 23, led by as many as 28, and ended up winning by 22, using a 70-12 run in that game. Well, you were down by 20 in the second matchup with this same exact team less than 48 hours later. And you use another big run. You lean on your guys. You lean on your dudes who have been in positions like that before. And you walk out of this trip to Puerto Rico undefeated, man. What an incredible performance by the Hoosiers in the second half. The first half, from all accounts, was terrible. What was abysmal? It was not good. And kind of reflects what we kind of learned from the first matchup with these guys on Saturday, right? Poor shooting, weak arms, slow legs, just not really all there in this game. And then you turn it on Saturday with an incredible run, 70-12, and end up winning fairly comfortably, at least on the scoreboard. This game took a game winner with about 6 seconds to go to take down this Mega SuperBet team, who hopefully you understand. I know you weren't able to watch these games, which was unfortunate, but they are pretty talented. We told you yesterday they have an NBA draft pick on that team who's going to play an extra year overseas before going to play in the association, plus a couple of guys who have played Power 4, Power 5 basketball, and a couple of more who will play Power 5 basketball once they get to be of age. And so that's a solid team. Are they Big Ten caliber? No. Are they Power 5 caliber? No. But it's a team that I compare to somebody you could see in the first or second round of the NCAA tournament. I think that's where I would put that team based off of their size, their ability, their stats, and just their chemistry and things. That's where I would compare this Mega SuperBet team to. Okay, so Indiana, this team, right, playing with all new players, not a single returner from a year ago, playing your first organized games against another opponent for the first time ever with this group of guys. You dominated a junior varsity team on the first game with no problem. You had to use an incredible comeback against this team the first time, and you do it again the second time. And man, we're going to talk about just takeaways and kind of what we learned from this and what we can learn from this coming up in just a little bit. But I have to continue to praise Taton Conerway. This dude blows me away early on in this season, I guess we'll call it. It's not really the season. These are exhibition games that, yes, again, the results don't really matter, but I like winning. I like seeing this team go 3-0. Gives me some confidence, lets me know there's some dudes on this squad, and they're being led right now by Taton Conerway. He was your leading scorer in this game, had 18 total points, 4 of 6 from the floor. He was also 1 of 2 from downtown, 9 of 10 from the free throw line. And Taton Conerway really was the only offense you had in the first half and was the only reason you had a chance to come back in this game. You could have been down by 60 if Taton Conerway doesn't show up in the first 20 minutes, again, playing 4 10-minute quarters. If he doesn't play those first 2 quarters well, you're in big trouble if you're the Hoosiers. He kept you in it. Lamar Wilkerson, Tucker DeVries didn't hit a shot in the first half. Didn't take a whole lot of shots either, and then they turned it on. You had Wilkerson, he was your second leading scorer with 17. Tucker DeVries did what he needed to do, ended up with 13 on 3 of 8 shooting. Was 0 for 3 from downtown. Lamar Wilkerson, his mug, he shoots the ball now. He shoots this. This dude shoots the basketball. 5 of 15 from the floor, 3 of 11 from downtown was Lamar Wilkerson. And so that concerns me just looking at it from a 30,000 foot view here. But those guys made plays down the stretch. And I'm sure you've seen the video. It was Lamar Wilkerson who made the winning play and set up the winning bucket for the Hoosiers to go up 81-80 with 6 seconds to play. At the top of the key, just off the left-hand side, power right-hand dribble, penetrates the lane, dumps it off to Reed Bailey, boom, puts it in, and the Hoosiers walk out of Puerto Rico undefeated. That's a winning play by your starting shooting guard, by Lamar Wilkerson, your starting guard, the dude you're going to lean on a lot this season, I would expect. Even after a tough game, a tough half, turned it on the last 2 quarters, and then made the winning play, had the winning assist, set up the winning shot for you to come back again and win this basketball game. And so overall, Reed Bailey didn't play well. Sam Alexis did. Sam Alexis played really, really good. 15 points for him. He had 5 of 10 from the floor, shot another 3. I'm going to keep saying I don't like him doing that, but that's okay. 5 of 7 from the free throw line, had a couple of rebounds in there as well. Did Sam Alexis? He had 3. Connor Enright had 6. That dude continues to rebound the basketball well. He hasn't scored a bunch, and that's not really his game, but he continues to crash the glass when he's in there. Reed Bailey, your leading rebounder, was 7. Tucker DeVries had 5 as well. And so overall in this game, Indiana shoots 41% from the floor. Not great, not terrible. You shoot 28% from 3, shooting 25 threes in comparison to game 1, where you shot 29 threes and shot 34%. So volume-wise, against this particular team, you got up your shots. You got your threes, you got your looks, and you knocked them down okay. Like to see that be a little bit better, but as we said, the first half was pretty terrible. But this team did it again. They came back when they could have just said, whatever. We're 2-1 on the trip. It doesn't matter. Let's just go home. We got our bags here. Let's just get on the plane. Let's get out of here. But they didn't. They didn't fold. They didn't give in. They continued to fight, continued to play, and they came back and won this basketball game. And you can buy into that or you cannot. You can be excited about that, or you can be not excited about that. I'll keep it nice here today. But I look at this as a good sign for this Indiana team. You got to get better and you got to improve. And we're going to talk about that here coming up next. But you can't fake the fact that you had 2 incredible comebacks. You were undefeated on the trip and you got to bond while you were there. Indiana goes to Puerto Rico, takes on 2 teams in 3 games and walks away 3-0. We'll talk about what the takeaways are, the good, the bad, and kind of in between. And what's next for this Indiana squad? We talk about that coming up next here on the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Game Time. We've all been there, right? Logging on early, waiting forever for those concert tickets to go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show that you've been dying to see. Live music should just be about making memories, not about fighting other people for tickets and whether your internet's going to hold up, and that way you can get the best seat that you want. That's where Game Time comes in. Game Time makes getting concert tickets even faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime, and you can save up to 60% off with their killer last-minute deals. Look, Didn't T Swift announce something about a new album, which means she'll probably be going on tour again and stuff? Don't be worried about all the other places. Go to Game Time if you want to go see Taylor Swift or I don't know, Jason Aldean or Jelly Roll or something. I don't know. Go get on Game Time. See if there's a concert near you. Use them today. Take the guesswork out of buying concert and show tickets with Game Time. I really showed that I don't know a whole lot about music and who's on tour right now, didn't I? Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase, no matter who you want to go see. All right, terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE. That's Locked On College for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, we continue on here on Locked On Hoosiers. Again, thank you so much for being here and making this your go-to spot for all things Indiana athletics. And just a quick reminder, if you are watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up, like the video, leave your thoughts down in the YouTube comments. That's the fastest way to help us grow and really does help us out. And make sure you subscribe to the channel as well, as we're pushing to 6,100 subscribers. It's free, it's easy, and it's going to notify you every time we post a new episode. So make sure you do that. And if you're listening on audio, I ask that you follow us on there, turn those notifications on as well. The question is now, okay, Indiana goes on this trip. You get to do it once every 4 years. You go to Puerto Rico, take on a team that was just happy to be there, and then a really talented Mega SuperBet team that pushed you to your absolute limit twice, okay? And so now the question is, you win those games. You got pretty good rotation. You had the same starting five in all three games, with Connor Enright, Lamar Wilkerson, Taton Conerway, Tucker DeVries, and Reed Bailey in that order 1 through 5. A couple of guys didn't play. Nick Dorn obviously didn't play. Josh Harris didn't get in this final game. Trent Sisley, there it is. Trent Sisley didn't have a great game in this one, but that's fine. His first two games were good. Alexa Ristic got some run time in here as well. So now the question is, Jason Drake didn't play either. So now the question is, what next, right? What's next for the Hoosiers? What do you take away from this? How are you supposed to feel walking out of this trip to Puerto Rico if you're an Indiana fan, or if you're a player, if you're an assistant coach, or if you're Darren DeVries? I think it should all be relatively similar. Be impressed, be happy that you got it, but don't take this and run with it forever, right? I mean, don't take this 100% into the season and say, well, we had two great comebacks in Puerto Rico. We were undefeated there, so we're just going to be an undefeated team in the regular season, right? Let's not go that far. Let's pump the brakes just a hair. And you can look into some of the stats and things. Again, the Hoosiers shot 41% in this game, 28% from the floor. Free throw shooting was fine, 79% in this game. Your total rebounds were 36 to their, 29? Is that right? Yeah, 29. So you out-rebounded that team. That was a little bit bigger than you, so that's a good sign, right? I mean, there were good things that happened in this game and in this trip, really. Again, a bunch of dudes got in. You played some rotation guys. You saw some action. You played games together for the first time, not against yourself. Heard Darren DeVries talk after the game yesterday where he said it was nice to play only 5 of our guys at a time, because think about practice. You're having to play 5-on-5 or even 3-on-3, but you're playing multiple dudes at the same time. It's hard to work on things. I think that particular quote was talking about Sam Alexis and Reed Bailey, trying to play them together a little bit, which they did a hair in this trip. But I'm sure it was nice for him and the staff just to play 5 at a time, rest some guys, have some depth, be able to look down the bench and actually have somebody sitting down there to go after and say, hey, you're up. Come on, let's go. So those are all positives for me. Seeing the shot type, seeing the shot selection, heck, seeing the shot quantity and quality is good for me. I think that's a good sign of what the style of basketball the Hoosiers are going to play this year. Some bad signs is the fact that against the better competition, you had 2 really bad, slow starts. You can't do that in some of these non-conference games against Marquette or Louisville or Kentucky. You just can't do that because those teams will blast you and they will not let you go on 70-19 runs. They will not let you overcome 20-point halftime deficits. You have to find a way to play 40 minutes of basketball. I don't love the shooting numbers. Again, they were fine, not great, but they weren't bad either. I do want to see Reed Bailey have more of a presence. I would like to see some of the bench guys start to make a presence, whether that's Josiah Miles, whether that's Jason Drake, Nick Dorn, Josh Harris, Alexa Ristic, Trent Sisley as well in terms of consistency, who I think could still be that X factor. I really do. But those are all things that you weren't going to learn 100% of your problems and know 100% of your strengths walking out of this. This gives you a great idea. And so what's next is you go back, you take a break. School's about to start, right? And school's starting right now, literally. You get back into classes, you have a little bit of a break. Practices will start up mid to late September. And then you go from there. You take the film. I'm sure they've got it. You take the film, look at it, break it down, learn from it, take notes. What did we do well? What did we not do well? What do we like? What do we not like? What rotations work? What stretches did we have? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's where this team is now. And for you, the Indiana fans, I tell you to be optimistic because I'm optimistic. And I think you could see this team has the talent. Are they just 100% bound for the NCAA tournament? No, not yet. They've got a long way to go. And non-conference play will be really good for this team. Big Ten play is going to be really tough for this team because the Big Ten is good, not because the team's not good. But overall, I think this was a success. This was a successful trip for this Indiana squad. Not just because you went 3-0. It's nice to win. It's nice to say, hey, yeah, we went 3-0. We had 2 comeback victories, and we faced adversity and overcame it before the season even started. That's awesome. Use that as a storyline or whiteboard material or paste it in your locker. I don't care. You can use that if you want to. But it can't hurt, right? And that was kind of our message going into this entire thing. And I think you got a lot out of it. And this is just talking about the basketball side. Remember, we've highlighted, as we should, all the things you got to do off the floor as well. All the team bonding things, all the pictures and the videos and things we saw of basketball camps and kayaking and swimming and just hanging out together, getting to know one another. Those are things that help you subconsciously. If you're an athlete or ever played a sport, you understand what those bus rides mean or the plane rides mean, or just hanging out and not stressing about whether your teammate's going to make the right play or you're going to make the shot or you guys are going to have to run sprints. Like, having that camaraderie away from basketball is a big deal too. And I go back to the timing of all of this could not have been better for a team that's brand spanking new, not a single returning player. And you got to make this trip this year because you only get to do this every 4 years, thanks to the NCAA. And Indiana got to do it with a new coach, a new staff, and a new team. You can't make that up. How many more wins does this add? I don't know. That's not a calculable, that's the right word, right? Sure, we'll go with it. A calculable thing, but it can't hurt you, right? It can't. You're not going to play another real game until the 1st of November. Like, you're not going to be tired. You're not going to be worn out. None of that. I see almost zero negatives. And as far as I know, I did see a little something about Tucker DeVries maybe banging his knee or his leg a little bit in the game yesterday, but he didn't come out. He kept playing. So I think he's fine. That would be the only thing for me in terms of any serious injuries. I don't think we had any of those and haven't heard of any of those, at least of things that happened in Puerto Rico. So overall, I don't see a negative out of all of this. And I'm telling you to be cautiously optimistic. The talent is there. The coaching, I think, is there. And we still have a lot to learn about this team. And that's kind of where we are now. We wait for practices to get going again. We start to hear who's playing well, what those rotations are going to be. I assume that starting 5, at least to start the season, is probably pretty confirmed. If Connor Enright, Lamar Wilkerson, Taton Conerway, Tucker DeVries, and Reed Bailey, I think you feel the most comfortable with that. You've got Sam Alexis coming off the bench as a big man. You've got Alexa Ristic coming off the bench as a guard. Trent Sisley coming off the bench as a guard. You've got Josiah Miles coming off the bench, right, as somebody you can rely on too. So I think that's what you're looking at as your 8 or 9-man rotation, and we'll see who steps up after that. So overall, a successful trip to Puerto Rico. Indiana goes 3-0. You're done for a while before practice begins in just a few weeks, and then you get to the season. And folks, I'm telling you, basketball season will be here before you know it. First week of November, we've got basketball back inside of Assembly Hall. All right, well, we will continue Locked On Hoosiers coming up in just a moment, because what's even closer than basketball season is football season. How do I know? The first AP poll came out, and your Hoosiers are all over it. We talk about where Curt Cignetti and his squad land on the AP poll coming up next here on Locked On Hoosiers. All right, final segment on Locked On Hoosiers. Again, thank you so much for being here, truly making this your first listen or your first watch every single day. We talked about the coaches poll yesterday, a little bit behind on that, so apologies there. And knowing that the AP poll was coming, now we can kind of play the comparison game. And that's what happened on Monday. The first rendition of the AP poll for the top 25 in college football was released. And I said it yesterday when talking about the coaches poll, and I'll say it again today when talking about the AP poll. I think preseason polls are extremely dumb. I think they're dumb. I don't think it's a good idea. I think it gives us a false narrative. I think it gives us a false outlook on certain teams, on most teams, to be completely honest with you. And I just don't think it's the proper thing to do. It gives us something to talk about, and it gives us an idea of where most people think our team is, whether that's Indiana or Alabama or Texas or, Michigan State or whoever. It gives fans an idea of, okay, well, this is maybe where we should be, but how many bad stories are there, like Florida State, who started as a top 10 team a year ago and ended up with a losing record in one of the worst seasons of their program history, right? That's why I think preseason rankings are just not good for the sport. They're not going anywhere. They're never going away. And I hate to, just to be open with you here, I hate to basically, hate on the idea and then go in and talk about it and tell you why it's exciting for the Hoosiers, but I'm just being honest with you. That's just kind of where I stand. But a fact is a fact. Indiana is ranked inside the top 20 of the AP poll. And for those of you on YouTube, you can look at our graphic here that our wonderful people at Locked On made. It's got 1 through 25 of the top 25 in the AP poll. And first thing I notice is, of the 25 teams, 24 of them have a Locked On show. So be sure, if you want any more information on any of these teams, you can go check it out as part of our Locked On podcast network. Just running through these quickly. 25, Boise State. 24, Tennessee. 23, Texas Tech. 22 is Iowa State. 21 is Ole Miss. And there are your Indiana Hoosiers right at the 20th spot. Fine by me. Coaches poll, you were right around in there as well. I think it's a good starting point. I think people are respecting Indiana. They're respecting the roster, respecting Curt Cignetti. But a lot of people are squeamish on what Indiana can do or will do in 2025, trying to back up, repeat, do anything close to what happened in 2024, right? And so it is what it is. Indiana's in the 20th spot. Texas A&M's at 19. Oklahoma's at 18. Kansas State 17. SMU at 16. Again, just running through these quickly. Florida's 15. Michigan, South Carolina. There's Illinois at 12 at that 12th spot in the AP poll. You've got Arizona State at 11. Top 10, Miami, LSU, Alabama, Oregon, Notre Dame, Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, Penn State, and Texas. A couple of things shifted at the top compared to the coaches poll versus the AP poll. And you look at teams that Indiana will play this year, at least in the regular season, that is. You're going to play that Illini team. You're going to play the Illinois Fighting Illini, ranked as a top 12 team right now. We talked yesterday, and some people commented, and I think it's true, Illinois could be a top 10 team by the time this is all said and done. I think Indiana could be a top 15 team. That's kind of what we've discussed and pondered on, and my friend Sonny at Locked On Illini as well. Top 15 matchups not out of the question in week 4, folks. Top 15 matchup between Illinois and Indiana is not out of the question in week 4. Of course, Indiana has to go on the road to number 7 Oregon. You have to go on the road to number 2 Penn State as well. You do miss out on Ohio State this year, which is nice. And you don't have to play Michigan this year either. So overall, I think it is good for now in terms of what Indiana's schedule looks like. Could other teams be ranked by the time you get to them? I think so. I think Wisconsin could. I'm not a believer in that, but I see a world where it's possible given their schedule and team and coach and things like that. Again, I'm not a believer there, but they very well could. Could could Maryland sneak up and be that team? Could Michigan State sneak up and be that team? They could. They absolutely could. But the problem is, again, as you look at this, you play on the road at number 2, on the road at number 7, and you host number 12. The schedule's harder than it was last year. It's still not the most difficult one in college football, but it's more difficult than it was. And Indiana deserves a little respect for that, I think, in terms of the preseason AP poll. And at least with the 3 teams on it that Indiana plays, Penn State and Oregon ain't going anywhere. And when you play Illinois, they're going to be a top 15 team. Will they be that by the end of the season? I don't know. I have to wait and see. But I'm excited about where Indiana is. There's tons of room to grow. But unfortunately, there's a lot of room to fall too if you drop a couple of games that you're not supposed to. So we'll see where that goes. We continue to get closer to the start of college football. And of course, the AP poll signifies just that. All right, well, that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers. Again, thank you so much for being here, truly making this your go-to spot. Really appreciate it. We're having a ton of fun, man, ramping up our coverage here in the month of August because we are counting down the days to the start of college football. We'll get some more fall camp updates from some of those position battles we've talked about, what Curt Cignetti had to say about the first scrimmage, and where we go from here with Indiana basketball. All that and more coming up the rest of this week right here on Locked On Hoosiers. So until tomorrow, Hoosier fans, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.